Brandon Garrison, Otega Owe, and Colin Chandler lead the way for the Cats to get an easy victory over the Oklahoma Sooners. And we're going to break it all down here on episode 124 of the Big Blue Breakdown.
The Big Blue Breakdown, from kickoff to tip-off.
Alrighty, guys, welcome into the Big Blue Breakdown, where we cover Kentucky football and basketball. I am Jackson Thurman. I appreciate you guys listening to episode 124 here. And if you guys enjoy the show, help us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts by liking, subbing, and then go check us out on social media at BigBlue_Beatdown on TikTok, X, and Instagram. So in today's show, obviously, we're going to be recapping Kentucky's 16-point win over the Sooners last night. And then we're talking about Kentucky is really getting hot from three, and specifically in the Oklahoma game, they really shot well from three. And then lastly, we're going to talk about we need these type of performances and this consistency from Brandon Garrison moving forward. But before we jump into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. If you're looking for clean energy with no sugar and no crash, W is the way to go. It helps me stay locked in for game days, late nights, and all these breakdowns. If you want to try it out, make sure to use my code BIGBLUE10 at checkout for 10% off. That's BIGBLUE10 at checkout for 10% off, guys. Really good stuff over there. Really effective stuff. Really good tasting stuff. Make sure to go check them out. Go to W.com and then use my code BIGBLUE10 to get 10% off at your order. Or on your order, excuse me. So let's go ahead and dive into Kentucky's 16-point win over the Sooners. I am really impressed with this win. Not just because you beat a bad team. You beat the worst team in the SEC in Oklahoma. But this Oklahoma team had hung around in some games with some pretty solid teams. I mean, you see in the Arkansas game, I believe they hung around with Texas A&M at home. So it wasn't like this team just wasn't going to test you at all. I mean, they really hit some tough shots in the second half, but the Cats were able to cruise past the Sooners to get a big-time victory. And what sets up to be an amazing showdown in Kentucky, in Rupp Arena, 8:45 Saturday night against a top 25 Tennessee team that you just had a 17-point comeback on, and you're bringing out the denim jerseys. Man, that will be a fun one. So let's break down what the Cats did well in this one and who really led the charge. And then we're going to get into Kentucky getting hot from deep and what that means for this team moving forward. And then why we need this type of play from Brandon Garrison moving forward. So looking at the team stats here, Kentucky shot 50, an insane clip, 50% from the floor, 30 of 60 from the floor. 3-point makes and percentages here. Now I know we're kind of, I don't want to say we're jumping ahead, but we'll dive more into this in just a little bit. But the Cats go 12 of 26 from 3-point land, and they shoot 46.2% from behind the arc. And then they were able to get to the charity strike 27 times, where they knocked down 22 free throws, and that has become a very big focal point for this Kentucky offense, is their ability to get to the foul line and knock down shots at the charity strike. They go 22 of 27 from the charity strike, and that makes up 81.5% from the line, which is actually pretty solid. The Cats honestly really dominated rebounding the basketball. The Cats got 11 offensive rebounds in this one and 35 rebounds in total, which was 10 more than Oklahoma. The Cats were able to get, the Cats and the Sooners were able to take care of the ball pretty well in this one. 6 turnovers for each team, 3 steals for each team. But the Cats were pretty good in the paint as well. 30-26 was the points in the paint, and Kentucky had the 30 in that one. Even with them staying hot from deep, they were able to deal a lump sum of damage in the paint. So this team right now is playing some very good basketball. Let's look at some individual statistics here. By the way, the Cats improved to 16-7 overall. And now they sit technically it is tied for third in the league, but also technically it's tied for second because if you look at the standings, Kentucky is right behind Florida. It's Texas A&M, Florida, Kentucky, and you think, okay, third, whatever. But Florida and Texas A&M are tied, and they play this weekend. So if Florida ends up beating A&M or vice versa, it really doesn't matter. If Kentucky ends up getting a win against Tennessee, they're going to be solidified in that second place. And Kentucky also plays Florida and Texas A&M. They play Florida twice, and they play Texas A&M once. So they're going to have their opportunities against those teams who lead the charge right now in the SEC and who you're really going after if they want their aspirations of an SEC regular season title to come true. Just want to give that out right there. But they set themselves up in a pretty daggone good spot. So I was really, really impressed. I'm going to get into the main contributors, but I was really, really impressed with Andrei Yelovich last night. On 22 minutes, he had 9 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. He hit an absolute deep three in the first half. He also hit a corner three. His rebounding last night was very, very good, and they slowed it down on one of the rebounds where he didn't end up getting the rebound, but I think BG did and put it back. But his ability to draw defenders or other teams' players to release somebody else to get a rebound because he draws that much attention at 6'11" and able to do that many things. Very, very nice game from Andrei Yelovich tonight, and he just continues to get better. Very, very efficient night from him, and he continues to do that. Moreno didn't end up playing a lot. I don't think he played at all in the second half, actually. He only played 11 minutes last night, but I think that is just because of the one of the best performances that Brandon Garrison has ever had. So I'm not really taking anything into account there for Moreno. Okay, Denzel Aberdeen, 8 points, was solid. He had a couple nice threes. He had 5 assists, very nice there. One thing I'm really, really big on is the assist. Actually, I did not end up mentioning it in the team stats, but the Cats had 21. When this Cats team is moving the ball, it really does look like a Mark Pope offense. I tweeted this out last night where when the Cats are moving the ball, it really does look like last night's teams, especially when they are hitting the three. It looked very fluid. The Cats look very, very good in transition. The Cats look really, really solid in half-court offense, man. That actually looked pretty solid. So I was really, really pleased with the half-court and the ball movement in transition for sure last night. Mo played solid, 18 minutes, 7 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. And then you get into the big three last night, the 3 main contributors. 2 had been playing very, very well, very consistent, stepping up, playing their tails off in the last couple of games, and then one that kind of been hiding in the shadows for a little bit, and that was BG. Let's go ahead and talk about BG here. He ended up with 20 and 11 on 29 minutes of play, also 3 assists. We got to have this guy. We got to have this guy playing like this, man. He was aggressive. One thing I really want to credit BG on last night was I don't want to say he didn't make any stupid mistakes, but it was his decision making. And so he had many, many opportunities to take the ball. And I mean, I know it's a big, but take it down the court by himself and be a ball handler. But he's not. He was very, very smart. He got it. Maybe he took a dribble, put it high up in the air where nobody could get it, got it to a guard, went down the floor. Now, he ended up taking on a fast break one time, but that's because we had a lot of numbers, and it would be kind of dumb if he didn't. He actually ended up making a very, very good play on it where he didn't draw the defender on somebody else, recognized it, shot a floater. Very nice. I really, really liked the decision-making last night from BG as he ended up again with a double-double. Very, very nice performance from the former 5-star McDonald's All-American. And then you move into Otega Owe, 24 points from him, the leading scorer. He has had 20 points, I believe, in the last 6 games. He should be 1,000% in the SEC Player of the Year race, and it's going to be devastating if he's not, because this dude has been the best player in SEC play. I'm not saying he's the best player non-conference wise, but I'm gonna get a clip here. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of slack for it, but right now, as I'm getting this clip here, Otega Owe, since entering SEC play, not just non-conference, not the whole thing, since entering SEC play, he has been the best SEC player on the floor. He has been the best SEC player on the floor. I know you can make the argument about Thomas Houck. I know you can make the argument of even somebody like Ruben Chinyulu, who's been playing very, very solid. But I really think that Otega Owe, since entering SEC play, has been the SEC Player of the Year. It has been playing like it. I know non-con's going to be taken into account, but if he continues this, he has to at least be in the race for sure. So, moving along here. Now, I want to talk about Colin Chandler. Man, lit it up. 4 triples from Colin. 18 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds on 34 minutes. 34 minutes last night. The big 3, absolutely amazing. His ability right now to hit those threes, he was very, very confident. Missed a couple early, didn't stop taking them. I posted last night as well. Our bigs were setting some really, really good screens for our guards to get open last night. So Cats get a nice win here, 94-78. The Cats roll the worst team in the SEC by 16 last night. And then, again, as I mentioned, Kentucky gets hot from 3. And I believe this is a big reason of why the Cats can and will be successful moving forward. It's because they are the second best percentage-wise a three-point shooting team in the SEC so far through halfway through SEC play. This team has been on fire. The other thing I want to mention here is when the moment in the situations in the games do not call for three-point shooting, the Cats will not shoot the three-point shots. They will not force three-point shots if they are not falling. We've seen that in the second half of the Arkansas game, where I believe the Cats shot 2 threes in the second half and hit 1. The decision-making has been so mature over the last couple of games, and the Cats are 7 of 8 in their last 8 games. The maturity level and the decision-making and just the overall play has obviously been better, and the shots have fallen, and the shot creation has been better. But just the decision-making when they see that the three-point shot is not going in, they've been very, very smart about it. I believe that will be a huge, huge thing for the Cats moving forward, as, again, they are the second best three-point shooting team per percentage-wise in the SEC so far, halfway through SEC play. So, last thing here I'm going to hit on before we head out in this one. But, of course, before we do that, before we continue on today's episode of the Big Blue Breakdown, I want to shout out Bluegrass Elite, your go-to brand for Kentucky apparel. If you want high-quality gear that really represents Big Blue Nation, whether it's for game day, campus, or everyday wear, Bluegrass Elite has you guys covered. Make sure you check them out and use my code BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. That's BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. So, guys, they have really, really good stuff. They have really, really good apparel. I have a couple of their things personally. You can go to their website and grab their stuff. Again, use the code there. And then you can also find them on the TikTok shop. So very, very versatile in where they place their gear. Very easy to get, and make sure to use the code. You get 15% off when you do that. So real quick, before I jump into why we need this BG more, and we'll wrap up the episode there. The Cats are 30th in KenPom right now. The Cats, 31st in KenPom right now. 39th offense, 34th defense. And I want to talk quickly about some numbers. I think the Cats, if they want to feel good going into the NCAA tournament-wise, metric-wise, I would say you need to get to the top 20, top 15 range, which I think is very doable with their very tough upcoming SEC slate. and try to get that defensive number in there a little bit better. I would say a top 20 defense, which I think is very doable. Their defense has been very, very good. I don't know the stat now after the Oklahoma game, but Kentucky was second in the SEC in points allowed in SEC play up until that point when they were playing Arkansas. So it's just something to know here. Just something to know. So last time I want to hit on here is BG. I'm going to make this very short and brief and very to the point. The reason why we need this BG more is because we don't know about Jaden Quaintance. We don't know about Jaden Quaintance moving forward. Obviously, I would personally love to have him back. I think he can still really, really help this team and be a very effective contributor. But if BG can give you, I posted this, if BG can give you 8 points, 8 rebounds, and maybe 2 to 3 assists a night and be that type of guy, the front court looks so scary because the way Malachi has been playing, Malachi has just been very, very good. If you can get that out of BG with consistent effort and energy and the production at some points to do what he did last night, you become so much better in the backcourt, or excuse me, in the front court. You become so much better. Because there's not going to be, if he ends up playing like that, obviously we don't know. This is why we need more of this, is because there's not going to be a huge drop-off once he enters the game. There's not going to be a huge drop-off once he enters the game, and maybe he can be a spark sometimes. And that's going to be huge for the Cats, especially with Mo out there and Yelovich. We start to look really, really scary with our bigs if BG can end up playing that way and Moreno stays consistent. That, guys, that is all I have for tonight's episode of the Big Blue Breakdown. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the show. We are 1 away from 220. I would really, really appreciate you guys if you guys subbed it. It really does mean a lot to the channel if you guys do that. But I will catch you guys tomorrow for a preview of Kentucky versus Tennessee. I believe we'll have a visitor on the pod talking about that one. A huge one Saturday, 8:45 for the Cats. And I will catch you guys tomorrow talking about that one and predicting and giving you our MVP, of course, and also obviously breaking down the game. But I'll catch you guys then. And as always, go Cats.